Freddy, where would you say confidence is for this team after getting a road result last game of the season, finishing third?
It was, I'm sure it's at a very high. I think it was that after the Houston game. But yeah, going on Vancouver, and we really stressed the importance of winning the game to just give ourselves a chance to give us a great position. And, whatever result would happen anywhere else, if they went our way, then we would be in something good. And the guys took it as a challenge. And, after winning the game, there wasn't a huge celebration of sort. I think the guys have it in their head more like we finished another part of the business that we're trying to accomplish. And, yeah, we'll enjoy it, but this is where it was almost like we knew this was going to happen. Now let's prep for the next game. So it was good. It was good atmosphere.
It's not often that a team kind of has an identity change middle of a season, kind of like you guys have from the standpoint of being a tough defensive team. Obviously, the stats really back that up the second half of the year. What do you think maybe the 2 or 3 biggest keys to evolving into that type of team from the first half of the season has been?
I just think everyone else is, not only the starters, but the guys that didn't play, when they were asked to play, they almost took it as a challenge. And so they wanted to kind of compete with the guy in front of them. And at the same time, the guy in front of them was, okay, this guy's doing well. I better step my game up. And so it was almost like a friendly competition of sort of competing, competing for spots. And that was part of it. The other part of it is, you have some guys like Natum and Marcelo's and, those guys that are veterans in the back line who they like doing the dirty work. And when I say the dirty work, blocking a shot. And all of a sudden I saw our team doing more of that blocking than we had in the past. Like it almost became you block a shot, I'm going to put my body on the line. So that was contagious, in my opinion. And then you started seeing now camaraderie within the whole team of putting in some dirty work and knowing that at times you're going to have to be under it at games, but taking pride in let's get through these rough patches. And that's for me, I would nail it to that. And obviously we started training. I said it before when Mike came back from his coaching course. We really wanted to focus on us. Part of it was an exercise that we came up with the collective unit, pressing an opponent, working on how when we're in organized defensive shape, how we're going to try to win the ball back. And we just started repeatedly doing it when we had the Saturday to Saturday game. It gave us time to really train it. And we didn't go away from it. We stayed on it. If we had a Saturday, we were going to work on that. Now it changed a little bit on tactics according to how the team was going to be, but we made it a part of our weekly routine of training that, and maybe that was another part of why we became a little more solid.
How much how long did it take them to buy into kind of that, especially the back press and things like that, or did it happen quickly, or did it kind of take some results for them to?
I hate the word buy-in because it's almost like you have to sell guys stuff, but it was, I think that I always refer back to the LAFC game where if you're going to have a competitive team, a successful team, you have to make sure that you're getting results in big games. And we did against LAFC with a really good defensive structure. Yes, we gave up 2 goals that game, and we had to score 3 to win. But it was all based off of that. It's hard to contain LAFC and keeping them off the scoreboard. But that ending of the playoff game last year carried on, and it wasn't as consistent early on, but we didn't derail from that. We still wanted to be good in a defensive shape because we knew we would get goals. We're a pretty good breakaway team, and we're pretty decent in possession. We knew we have guys that can score from various, but we wanted to see if we can keep teams from scoring 2 goals. If they're going to score, it's 1 and give us an opportunity to win or not score. And it just carried on. It wasn't necessarily like I came in and it was like, okay, now you guys got to buy into my stuff. No, we matured a lot after that LAFC game, and we just have continually gradually gotten better.
From a statistical standpoint, you don't give up a lot of goals compared to other teams, but you don't necessarily score as many as other teams as well. Do you think that's correlated where you almost have to be, excluding LAFC because they're the anomaly, that you have to in some ways play one style versus the other? Or do you think you can be a team that does both and that this team is capable of that? I
think so. I don't think it's been from a lack of trying or a lack of having opportunities. I think even the last game, what did we have, if I'm not mistaken, 15 shots in the game against Vancouver. Maybe not the best of shots, but we're getting to the final third. So it's not a lack of not having attack. It's not a lack of not having possession in the game. There's times where you're in a hot streak and you score a lot of goals, and then there's times that, one's going to do it for you. And I think the guys have gotten a little more comfortable in knowing that they don't have to score 3 goals or 2 goals to win a game, that sometimes one will do. And I think that's what we've improved on from the last 2 years, where I think in the past it was like, if we didn't score 2 or 3 goals, a lot of times we're giving up a goal. So, no, we're not valuing one more than the other. We still want to be a team that scores goals and is exciting for the fans and plays to the strength of some of our players like Sava and Albert and all those guys like open games. At the same time, there's got to be discipline when we don't have the ball. So we think we have found a pretty good balance of both.
When you look at this team from last year, and now you guys have some playoff experience, how valuable is that as you guys get ready for the postseason this year?
It's big, and I wouldn't just say for the playoffs. I think it shows that it's big into the last 2 games of the season. The Houston game could have easily been like you give it away. I mean, that team dominated us in the first half. We figured it out. Guys didn't panic, responded, came back in the second half and get goals. And then, again, the importance of playoff, that experience at LAFC game and Kansas City last year. Now we go to Vancouver, and there's no panic. I think for the most part, I think you guys would agree with me, we had pretty good control of the game. Really, when they had attacks was when we lost the ball in poor areas, and they countered us. And maybe they had like 10 minutes of a little flurry there where we had to really kind of scramble and adjust some tactics. But aside from that, we feel like now the guys have the experience of a big game, multiple big games, but also experience of more games under their belt. A lot of the U23 guys now have 50-plus games, as opposed to last year they were still trying to get across the 20 mark or 30 mark. So that comes to it, and then the competition of adding some, the back line. We think we found a pretty good back four. At times rotating a 5th guy in there that all those guys involved, and even adding some other ones like New England, and guys take pride in going and getting a result. But we think we found a good core of what the mentality should be like, and all that comes from the experience of last year's playoff games.
You guys had the 3-game week. You guys have tight games. How much does that help as you build into the playoffs, that you've had kind of some intense games heading into it?
Yeah, that 3-week was tough. The New England one was huge for us, even though we didn't quite get the result against LA. I think it kept a good group of fresh legs to carry out the whole 3-game stretch. Now we get Portland, and we get a week to train, a little bit more than a week. With some guys gone, we don't have the whole group, but still today we got a great training session in with Monarchs Academy and the first team guys here. But we need to really take advantage of this time here, because like you say, once we're planning on winning against Portland, but after that you don't have a whole lot of time of really training. It's more talking and kind of going through some light tactics. So we got to really take advantage of pushing this next 10 days for the guys to really get a good base. And we also took advantage of giving them a couple days off, because we feel at this point in the season there's still got to be some mental break as well. It's not just on the physical. The guys got to relax a little bit, recharge, and then kind of like get themselves really focused now to know that we're in the playoffs, and there's a little more intensity in these things, and then not just in the physical part, but the mental aspect. There's a little more stress, so we gave them a good little balance of a break and how we can push them without burning them out.
There's obvious disadvantages to the guys being away, but what benefits can you guys have when they get back?
I mean, you go with the national team, it ups your level. So that's what we're banking on, is the guys come back. I think when Sava's always come back, Albert, those guys, they come back with a new little spark and just sharper, because international game has a stress and an intensity. And I think they'll come back here sharper physically, but also mentally. It's like a little bit of it was really stressful over there trying to have the weight of your country, and now here coming back to the guys that you spend sometimes more time than your family with, and I think it benefits us. As long as they don't come back injured, I think for the most part, the guys that have come back, they always come back with a little bit sharper than when they left.